It was back in 1995, I think, when I first started to play the game. When one of my classmates invited me to his house and showed me a bunch of cards, and somehow got to learn more about the game that way. And I think that from 1995 up to 1999, it was really the time when I played the game. But by 1999, I think that I already wasn't playing the game as much. So for 4 years, if you play the game, somehow you did okay. But if you continue to play the game some more, with the amount of cards that they've been adding, I think that you'll end up playing more instead of studying more. So I focus on 999 because one of the new videos from Magic the Gathering, which is the one about Mark Rosewater presenting to us the cards that got banned. And one of those cards that I can recall is the Lotus Petal. And I remember that card because I seem to have used that card, or I've seen that card and learned about that it got banned. So it wasn't something that you'd think would get banned, but I think because they were adding more and more cards, eventually it was too powerful. It became too powerful that it had to be banned. Initially, you'd think that why would anyone ban this card? It's a Lotus Petal. It's not the Black Lotus, which we at the time in 1995 already knew that it was too powerful, and this was the the next card that was related to the Black Lotus but weakened so that it won't be too powerful, and yet Lotus Petal still got banned. So I think we have to also explain that in 1999, according to Wikipedia, from the history page, we learn about the arrival of a new expansion pack, which is the Urza Saga. I think that's the last expansion that I really can remember playing, because in 1995 there was the fourth ed, which I got to know more about the cards like the Shivan Dragon and Kurdape and things like that. But I think it was only in the Ice Age that my siblings and I got hold of the cards. And then I distinctly remember buying the Homelands booster pack, because when you open the booster pack, you got this scent. It was really one of those distinct scents, kind of like the NBA cards, which my younger sibling bought quite a lot of. I think he bought boxes of those. Only I wasn't really too fond of the NBA cards because you can't really play the NBA cards, just collected them. And I think some of people were collecting them because they thought that they could sell them or something like that. But I thought that maybe it wasn't really for me. I just watch people do that. I mean, collect the cards and trade cards and things like that, and even talk about the cards. But I was more into, I think, the Magic the Gathering game, even though I didn't really buy so many cards. Although the booster pack was something that I can recall, maybe because it was the only time that I bought something. Really. And you got the scent there. And I was just saying that my younger sibling bought boxes of NBA cards. I don't know how he even got the money to buy those things. But yes, one booster pack for me, and it was a big deal for me. I think I can still remember that one. And if you look at the Homelands, by the way, Homelands booster pack, you got this green and red color. Very interesting, that one. And I think it was in third floor Vera Mall that I bought that booster pack. Just one booster pack. And it was the, I think that's the one with the Asian shade. I think maybe, I think that's the one that, because once you open the pack, you get something that is not the not the usual cards that you'd get. At least one. I think at least one card would be kind of rare or not the common one. So I think that's the one where you got the Asian shade or Asian shade card. So having said that, the Magic the Gathering game, we played it, and me, I played it only up to a certain point. I think it was really up to until 1999 when the Urza Saga came, and you got more of the newer, I'd say newer techniques or something like that, because you got words like cycling or things like artifacts doing stuff that you normally wouldn't expect them to. And so they added more and more of these things and it became really more complicated, I thought. Complicated things because the deck that I was using couldn't really function as well as it should anymore. So I had to change decks, I had to buy more cards, learn more of these new cards, and you end up just continuously playing and playing. And I think that's really one of the goals that they wanted, if not the main goal that they wanted to achieve, to get players to continue to play and play and play and play and play, which is what was happening also with the arcades. They wanted people to continue to play the game over and over again because that's how they would make money. If people continuously inserted coins because they wanted to play Marvel vs. Capcom, for example, you don't have Marvel vs. Capcom on any console, not the way the arcade does it, because it's so fast and you don't have the loading, and it was really the game that you'd want to play over and over again, kind of like you're gaming the system to know how to play it, and you end up playing the game more than studying, in the same way that Magic the Gathering eventually turned into something like that. And the people who didn't notice it were really spending more of their time playing the game. I think it's also kind of how people, if you look at the games that have been released eventually after Magic the Gathering became a lot more complex, because they found that people seem to be a lot more engaged with more varieties, more complexity, and the way you can combine cards and things like that. We find that the games that got released were turning into really something that you have to spend a lot of your time into, and you play them kind of like trial and error. You wanna reach the goal, but you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know that there's a pit or there's this trap. So you die and you repeat the whole thing. But because you know that there's a pit there waiting for you, or there's a trap waiting for you, you know already, so you don't get trapped. You don't fall into the pit anymore, and that's how you can proceed. But again, there's another one, another pit waiting for you, another trap waiting for you, and you don't know that there's some trap waiting for you, and so you fall into the trap, get caught, and then you repeat the whole thing, and you start over from square one, and you move forward because you already know that there are two traps already waiting for you. You don't get caught by those traps, and then you can proceed up until you reach the, the goal. So you have to keep on playing and playing, kind of like a trial and error type of game, which is really what gaming the system is, I think, where you keep on trying and trying until you find the correct pattern or the correct way to solve it. And it's really different from the way Magic the Gathering at the start, I think, was. And it's because you play a set of cards, and you know that you are not winning because you are using a certain card and your opponent use another card that is a lot more powerful and can destroy your creature with one hit. And so you know that you gotta beware of this card. I'm talking about the white card, the card that is the Swords to Plowshares card, where if you got a Shivan Dragon, which is supposed to be a really strong creature, it gets killed right away. When normally you can't lightning bolt it because it's a lot stronger, it's tougher. And so you can't hit it with a lightning bolt. But with just one card from a white deck, the Swords to Plowshares card, you can destroy the Shivan Dragon very quickly, and so you can prepare for something like that. In the same way that in Pokemon, if your creature is weak against water types, then you change your Pokemon. You get something that is strong against water. So that way of thinking, I think you have to think about why you're not doing very well, and it's not supposed to be kind of like you just go through the whole thing over and over again, and somehow you'll get it. I think you'll have to spend a lot of time to do it and a lot of trial and errors until you really reach the goal. And that's why just the other day, I think it was yesterday, I spent about, I think it was even more than an hour. It's going through one of the stages in Crash Bandicoot 2, the remake, and going through the stage over and over again. When normally I'd only spend maybe at most 30 minutes playing the game, but that one, because you wanted to reach the goal and you keep on dying, and even though you keep on dying, you know that you know there's this trap there. You guys just have to remember there's a trap there, and not get caught. But I think it was designed so that really you have to put in a lot more of your time playing the game, and somehow that was the idea, I think, why people who play games don't do very well in studies, in their studies, and in other things. All right, so I think that should be enough. Thanks for joining me. We'll see each other soon.